Namaste. I am Yogaguru Karamjit and a yoga teacher, yoga therapist, and a yoga researcher. The journey of practicing and teaching yoga is start at a very early age. And I was born into the family of the yogic tradition. My ancestors built a yoga ashram, a temple of Shiva, where the yogis used to come and stay and practice yoga. And from there, my forefathers learned the practice of yoga from the Nath yogis, from the Shiva tradition, and it come to the tradition of our family. So my father learned from my grandfather, and my father taught me the basic and the beginning of the yogic practices, as well as the traditional martial arts, the Indian style of wrestling. The further, I learned the devotion and bhakti yoga from my mother. And then all of my childhood, the practice of yoga continued. And I was practicing yoga asanas and also participated into the many competitions of yoga in my childhood time. And even throughout my teenage and after completing my graduation, so there was a lot of question, a lot of doubts are there in my mind about the existence of the self and the existence of the cosmos. For that, I just find one way to get the answer of my all the questions is the practice of yoga and meditation. So in 2009, I left the home and I traveled into Himalayas and stayed in Himalayas and practicing meditation. So all my questions were answered into meditation. Then I decided to give this knowledge to the people, to the society, and I decided to continue my master's, the post-graduation, also into yoga. Then I find the best institution of yoga and yoga therapy in India called Swami Vivekananda Yoga Anusandhan Sasthan. So there I learned the best of the ancient wisdom, the Eastern knowledge, and the best of the modern and the Western knowledge. So also we train also into the yoga therapy and how in a particular disease, it can be a physical, it can be a psychological, how we can apply a systematic and a scientific approach of yoga to healing these all problems. And understanding the disease to its cause and not only just treating the symptom but erasing and treating the disease from its actual cause. After completing my master's, and even during my master's, we are having the internship and I was teaching yoga to the participants into different sections, like example, cardiovascular system, respiratory diseases, neurological diseases, arthritis, and the rheumatic problems. So we all trained well in our institution there. Then after that, the zeal of learning yoga is not stopped here. Then I moved to Mysore and stayed there for 1.5 years and practicing Ashtanga Vinyasa. And I learned from all the traditional classical teachers of Mysore and finished all the 6 series of Ashtanga Vinyasa yoga there. Then I found there is in the same lineage of Ashtanga Vinyasa, there is a B.K.S. Iyengar, Guruji, who is doing a great work in the form of alignment and adjustments and corrections of asanas. And then I get opportunity also learn from such a great masters. And I learned how using a different probes, a different things into yoga, we can help a beginner to achieve a perfect pose without any injury. So it is one of the precise, the safest way of practicing yoga today. And then the journey continues. The zeal inside me didn't let me stop here. Then I came to Rishikesh, to Swami Shivananda Ashram, to practice the tantric and the ancient yogic way. I stayed among the monks and practiced Swami Shivananda style of yoga, which is union of all the styles of yoga. So it was an enlightening experience in my life. And then further I start teaching and continuing my practice of yoga, and then after that purely from the Himalayan tradition, from Mahavatar Babaji to Lahiri Maharshi and then Maharshi Lomesh and then all that lineage of the yogis, and then my current master from Swami Ashutoshji, I learned the pure tantric practices of yoga and also the highest forms of meditation and the Kundalini yoga. And here my journey continuing. I am teaching yoga since 2011, and I teach also yoga therapy to all kind of physical and the psychological problems. And many of the patients get well through the teaching and the practice of yoga with me. And in 2014, I start teaching in the yoga teacher training courses. And I travel all over the world to do the workshop on yoga therapy, on yoga, on different styles of yoga. And then I find there is not a quality of teaching is not delivering to the real seekers of yoga, and I founded in 2015 Omkaraha Aham Yoga Mandiram, where we are teaching the yoga in the most authentic and the classical way combined with the modern science. Since then, like I'm continuing in teaching yoga, so I teach all the subjects of yoga. I practice all the dimensions of yoga. So I'm also teaching yoga anatomy, physiology, pranayama, meditation, Ashtanga Vinyasa, Vinyasa yoga, Hatha yoga, Kundalini yoga, relaxation techniques, philosophy. So I teach all of these subjects. So now I know what there is a requirement of the modern society, what is requirement of the student. So that's why I was able to design the best curriculum for my students, which is promising and delivering the highest quality of content, where it is having the highest time is to gaining ratio. What I want to mean is, in the shortest period of time, you will get the maximum experience, maximum knowledge and wisdom in the short span of time. So all the classes are systematically designed in a sequence from the beginner to the intermediate to the advanced level in our ashram. And still now I'm working on myself and practicing yoga regularly, and in the specific occasion of the year, I still travel to Himalayas to do my advanced sadhana, my practice of yoga. Namaste.